It is said that in Middle-earth, Sauron created 19 rings and gave them to different races, and secretly made a ring for himself. Gradually, Sauron began to encroach on the territories of the other races, and finally, a final alliance was formed between men and elves, and declared war on Sauron's army on Mount Doom. As the alliance was about to win, Sauron the Ring changed the tide, but in the nick of time, the human king's son, Ysaias, accidentally cut off Sauron's ring-bearing finger. Without the ring's power, Sauron's army was defeated, and Sauron was lost in the explosion. But Sauron's soul was not destroyed. Ezekiel, who had acquired the ring, should have destroyed it, but the ring's power was too strong, so powerful that Esther couldn't resist the temptation to take it for himself. But on the way back, Ezekiel was attacked by orcs, and the ring was left at the bottom of the river. 2,000 years later, Gollum, the little monster, was given the One Ring. He took it with him and hid in the mountains. Years later, the ring was abandoned of its own accord, but Baggins came exploring and found it. 60 years later, it was Baggins' 111th birthday. At his birthday party, Baggins demonstrated the power of the ring, and this attracted the attention of Gandalf, a mage who was attending the party. Gandalf's request, Baggins relinquished the ring and left it to his nephew Frodo. But when Gandalf threw the ring into the fireplace and identified it as the legendary The One Ring, the 9 lords of mankind merely put on the ring, and the next moment, they were terrifying demons. Sauron got the news of the ring, so he immediately sent the 9 demons to search for the ring in the Shire. Gandalf instructed Frodo to bring the ring to Bree. He himself will be waiting for him at the inn of the Blazing Saddle. And so Frodo, accompanied by his friend Sam, left the Shire. On the way, Merry and Pippin joined them, but they didn't find Gandalf and Bree. Instead, they met Aragorn. Aragorn had been asked by Gandalf to protect them, but that night the wraiths attacked the inn. Fortunately, Frodo and Aragorn had already moved on. The reason Gandalf couldn't come because he went to seek the advice of the white mage Saruman. But Saruman was already in league with Sauron, and they began to fight. Gandalf was defeated and imprisoned. Frodo and the others followed Aragorn out of Bree, but on the way, they were attacked by a wraith and stabbed Frodo. At a critical moment, Elf and Princess Eowyn rescued Frodo and fought off the 9 evils. They traveled to the kingdom of the elves. Under the care of Ellen of the Elves, Frodo recovered. On the other hand, Gandalf found a chance to escape from the top of the tower. In order to prevent a repeat of this tragedy, King Aeron of the Elves gathered the leaders of the races to discuss strategy. At the meeting, they decided Frodo and Aragorn and Gandalf would go to Mount Doom to destroy the ring, but they were at the foot of Mount Caernreth. At the foot of Caernreth, they were blocked by Saruman. An avalanche of snow made it impossible for them to travel. He diverted them to the caves of Moria, but as soon as they reached the cave to rest, Frodo's band was surrounded by orcs. They escaped, but they also awakened a creature from the lowlands. Gandalf fought the Inferno to protect his teammates from the Inferno, but when he defeated the Inferno, Gandalf was dragged into the abyss. The rest of the team began to seek refuge in the Golden Forest. This man just glanced at the ring. The next moment, his mind was controlled by the ring. He set out to take the ring. In the Golden Forest, they met the Elf Queen, Calantrul, the Queen of the Elves. After learning of the situation, she gave them her most precious treasure and helped them to leave the forest. On the other hand, Saruman, first, he ordered all the trees around them to be cut down. Then he used the fallen elves to create the dreaded orcs. He sent this army to track down the 4 hobbits to take the ring, and Frodo and the others traveled across the Andorian galaxy to Agnes, the northern border of Gunther. But it was here, Boromir took one look at the ring and was tempted. And he was tempted. He tried to take the ring from Frodo. Fortunately, Frodo was able to take the ring with him and become invisible. But at that moment, the legions of demons with their special sense of the ring, have arrived here, though Bromo was momentarily under the ring's spell. But in this battle, Frodo's side in this battle, but the orcs are outnumbered. Bromo was wounded trying to protect Merry and Pippin. He died in the arms of Prince Aragorn. In the middle of the battle, the orcs heard the White Wizard say to keep them alive. Merry and Pippin were kidnapped by the orcs. Frodo's band fell apart, and it was then that Frodo thought of running away from the party. The movie ends here.